Welcome back to the deep dive. You know that feeling, right? The constant scramble, always feeling rushed.
Yeah, like you're just chasing the clock all day.
Exactly. And it kind of leaves you feeling a bit afraid, maybe stressed, or even, grumpy sometimes.
It's super common. You see it everywhere, don't you? People on their commute, parents juggling everything.
Yeah.
Just this general vibe of not enough time.
Totally. And it's frustrating because deep down, we all know being in a good mood, having that little bit of breathing room, it just makes life better for us and everyone around us. So what's the fix? Is there a secret?
Well, we've been looking into some really interesting stuff today. It's drawn from insights in a book presented in this popular Japanese YouTube video, actually.
Oh, interesting.
And it offers this different take on waking up early. It basically suggests it's not about sheer willpower, grinding it out.
Okay.
It's more about setting up a system that makes it feel, well, almost effortless.
Effortless early rising, turning rushed mornings into fulfilling ones. That sounds pretty good. Exactly what we like to explore here.
Mm-hmm.
So our mission for this deep dive is to unpack the key ideas from the source, see how they might actually help transform your mornings, maybe even your whole day.
Yeah, we're going to dig into the surprising link between your mood and just having enough time,
Okay.
and introduce what the source calls a good mood equation. Plus, figure out the best way to actually use that extra morning hour you might gain.
And there's something about a secret weapon.
Yeah, sort of master sword technique to finally beat that dreaded snooze button.
The snooze monster. All right, let's get into it. Starting with that basic idea. The source observes how often people just seem kind of unhappy or stressed out in public.
Right, and it asks, if we all know being in a good mood is better, why is this the default for so many?
And the answer isn't some complex psychology.
Surprisingly, no. The insight is really simple. It often boils down to just lacking time. Or, maybe more accurately, lacking mental space.
Mental space.
Yeah, the Japanese term they use is, kokoro no yoyu. Like having, room in your mind or your heart, headspace.
I like that. Kokoro no you. Mental space. So how does lacking that lead to a bad mood?
Well, think about the examples they give, like when a colleague pops over for a chat when you're totally swamped.
Right, and you feel that instant irritation.
Exactly. Or telling your kid, not right now, I'm busy, because you genuinely feel you don't have a spare second. It's not that you're angry necessarily.
It's the pressure.
It's the pressure. You feel squeezed like you have no buffer, and that drains that mental space and makes you irritable.
So it's less about the tasks themselves and more about feeling like you have zero margin for error, zero flexibility.
Precisely. The source basically concludes that whether you're generally in a good mood or a bad one, often just depends on whether you feel like you have enough time in this mental space.
Which leads us to this good mood equation you mentioned.
Yeah, the formula they propose for getting into that good state is good mood, early to bed, early to rise, plus personal time.
Okay, let's break that down. Early to bed, early to rise. Sounds like old advice, but the source really hammers it home as the foundation.
Absolutely essential. It's your physical and mental baseline. You really do need around 7 to 8 hours of sleep to function well.
Can't really fake that long term.
Nope. And source points out, logically, if you're aiming for a 6 a.m. wake up, you got to be thinking about hitting the hay around 10 or 11 p.m. the night before. Sleep has to come first.
Right, you invest the night before to get the morning. Okay, what about the second part? Personal time.
This is the magic ingredient. It's that first hour you gain by waking up earlier than usual.
Okay.
And the key definition here is that it's only for you. Completely undisturbed, no phone notifications, no emails, no one else making demands on it. The source calls it supreme time.
Supreme time. I like that. So what do you do during this supreme hour? Is it about productivity?
Not necessarily. That's the beauty of it. You get to decide. The source suggests things like quiet reading, maybe just really enjoying a coffee, a gentle walk. Simple stuff. The power isn't really in the specific activity, but the fact that you chose it and it's not being dictated by external stuff.
And how does having this specific hour impact the rest of the day's mood?
It creates that buffer, that kokoro no yuyu. Starting a day with an hour where you're fully in control, it significantly lowers your baseline irritation level. You feel less reactive later on.
You start from a place of calm, not chaos.
Exactly. You're starting with a full tank, so to speak, instead of running on fumes from the get-go.
Okay, but lots of people think of their me time as evening time. Unwinding with Netflix, meeting friends. How is this morning hour different? Why is it supposedly better?
Yeah, the source draws a really clear distinction. Evening relaxation. It's often temporary. It feels good in the moment, having a drink, watching a show, hanging out. But it doesn't really set you up for the next day. You can still wake up tired, stressed, needing that quick fix again. Plus, a lot of evening stuff costs money, right? And
Yeah.
maybe isn't something you can do every night.
Okay, I see the point. And the morning personal hour?
Well, it's basically free. You can do it daily.
Mm.
Often, it's actually good for your health, like a walk or stretching. And the key thing is, its positive effect tends to last throughout the day. It helps you maintain that good mood.
Mm.
The source actually calls it the most cost-effective mental care you can possibly get.
Wow. Most cost-effective mental care. That
Yeah.
that definitely puts a different spin on dragging yourself out of bed early.
Right. So the challenge is to try this equation out starting, tomorrow. And there was also that practical tip for falling asleep easier.
Oh yeah, getting to sleep can be half the battle.
Definitely. The tip is simple but effective. Make your bedroom just for sleeping. Keep it minimal.
Minimal?
Like no phone right by the bed if you can help it, no TV in the bedroom, maybe not even stacks of books right there. The idea is to train your brain to associate your bed pretty much only with sleep.
So when you get in bed, your brain knows, okay, it's sleep time.
Exactly. Helps you switch off faster.
Okay, so you've done the prep, you've managed to wake up an hour earlier. Now this is where it gets crucial, right? Making sure you don't waste that hour or just quit after a few days.
Absolutely. The source is really clear. Just waking up early isn't the actual goal. It's how you use the time.
Right.
And it suggests thinking about activities that genuinely make you feel good or set you up properly for the day ahead. Could be anything, really. Walking, stretching, a mindful shower, packing a decent lunch.
Or studying, reading, cleaning.
Yeah, even getting a jump on some focused work if that feels right for you. And they actually categorize these things, which I found helpful.
Okay, how so?
They split them into two main types. Purpose activities, that's the goal-oriented stuff. Studying for certification, reading for work, doing focused morning work, planning for the future, that kind of thing.
Got it. Purpose-driven.
Yeah.
And the other type?
Is lifestyle activities.
Mm.
This is more about the foundations of daily living, maintaining your physical and mental state.
Light.
Like the walk, the stretching, sorting out your morning routine, maybe doing a quick 5-minute tidy up, making and eating a proper breakfast, taking care of your immediate environment and yourself.
Okay, purpose and lifestyle. And the advice is to focus on which one first.
Prioritize lifestyle. This is the core insight, I think.
Really. Not jump straight into the productive purpose stuff.
It feels counterintuitive,
Yeah.
right? Especially if you're motivated. But the argument is that tending to your lifestyle, first tidying your space, even for just 5 minutes, having a calm breakfast, it actually clears your head.
Huh, reducing that mental friction.
Exactly. It boosts your capacity and performance for the purpose tasks later on. It's like clearing the decks before you start the main work.
Building that solid ground first.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And there's a strong warning attached. Don't just hammer away at purpose activities if your basic lifestyle foundation is crumbling.
Like studying like crazy, but living on instant noodles and your place is a mess.
Precisely. That kind of scenario.
Yeah.
Or pushing hard at work goals but having zero time for family or self-care. The source says that path just leads straight to burnout.
And didn't the author share a personal story about this?
They did, yeah. A really stark one. They talked about pushing super hard on their YouTube channel, very purpose-focused, neglecting basic life needs, sleep, proper food, rest.
Yeah.
And they ended up in the hospital, burned out completely. It's a powerful illustration that you can't build something ambitious on shaky foundations. It just won't last.
Wow. Okay. So real effectiveness and maybe even just feeling good while pursuing goals, that comes when the basics are solid. Your health, your home, that mental space.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
Start that precious morning hour by looking after yourself and your immediate surroundings.
Mm.
Build that lifestyle routine first.
And then once that's stable.
Then you can gradually layer in the purpose activities.
Right.
Studying, working on projects, whatever it is. That way, the morning routine itself becomes the bedrock for a good mood and sustainable productivity all day.
And that's the difference maker. Using the hour for you, building that foundation, is what helps people stick with early rising long term.
Seems to be the key differentiator, yeah, between those who make it a habit and those who, crash and burn after 3 days.
Okay, this all sounds achievable, logical, but
But
there's still that moment, that first moment you wake up.
yes, the big boss battle.
The snooze monster, that urge to hit snooze or just roll over. Knee-dome, they call it. It's powerful.
It really is. It's like this stealth attack the second the alarm goes off. You might have had the best intentions the night before.
But that warm bed.
Ah, it's so tempting. Just 5 more minutes. It's a classic trap.
So how do you fight back? You mentioned a master sword.
Huh. Yeah, the source calls it the trigger, Toriga. It's basically one specific action you decide on beforehand that you do immediately when the alarm goes off. No thinking, just doing.
An instant action. To do what?
To smoothly move you from bed to the next step of your routine before that snooze fog takes hold. It cuts off the path back to sleep.
Okay, examples. What kind of triggers work?
They give some great ones. Like if your goal is to exercise, leave your workout clothes right next to your pillow. Alarm goes off, immediately put them on.
Ah, because once you're dressed for it.
Exactly. Going back to sleep in your running gear feels wrong. It changes your mental state instantly.
Clever. What else?
Could be just changing out of pajamas right away. Or a big one, opening the curtains wide to let the sunlight in.
Oh, sunlight's powerful.
Hugely. Or walking straight to the kitchen for a glass of water,
Ooh.
doing 1 minute of simple stretches, watching your face, anything that gets you physically up and moving.
So the trigger is the bridge, the immediate first step that breaks the sleep inertia.
That's it. It redirects your momentum away from the bed. And they add that combining your chosen trigger with getting some sunlight soon after is like 99% guaranteed to make you feel properly awake.
Find your trigger. Do it instantly. Get light. Sounds like a plan.
It's a solid sequence. But there is one absolutely crucial warning that goes with this. And it might be the hardest habit for many of us to break.
Uh-oh. What is it?
Do not check your smartphone first thing when you wake up.
Oof. Yeah, that's reflexive for so many people. Why is it so bad?
Because the moment you look at that screen, your brain gets flooded. Social media, news alerts, emails.
Information overload.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And crucially, it's information created and curated by other people. You're immediately letting the outside world's demands and content hijack that precious personal time before you've even had a chance to connect with yourself.
You give away your mental space right at the start.
Right away, without even realizing it sometimes. So the strong advice is, keep the phone out of sight, maybe even in another room if possible, until your dedicated personal hour is done.
Wow. Okay. So, find your trigger, protect your first hour from the phone. That's vital.
Absolutely vital for making this whole system work.
Now, beyond that core equation and the triggers, were there other tips for making early rising stick? Making it a real habit?
Yeah, a few more good ones. Consistency came up again, big time. Meaning do it every day, even weekends, even days off. The source argues that skipping it on your rest days makes it much harder to form the habit. It breaks the rhythm. You got to build that consistency muscle daily.
Right, doesn't let the habit settle in. What if the trigger alone isn't enough motivation some days?
The author shared a couple of personal boosters they used. One was a verbal trigger, like stating a big goal out loud the moment they woke up.
Saying it out loud.
Yeah. Apparently, when they were pushing really hard for their YouTube channel, needing to wake at 3 a.m.
3 a.m.?
Yeah, intense. They'd literally shout their goal, like, I will hit 50,000 subscribers in 6 months, just to force themselves up and into action. A strong commitment voiced aloud.
That's hardcore. Any other boosters?
Music. Using a specific, really motivating song as an alarm or playing it immediately. They mentioned one called Kakume by Moroha, means revolution. Apparently has powerful lyrics about leaving comfort behind. Playing something like that loud could definitely jolt you awake.
Using sound and intention?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And anything else? Back to basics?
Yep, it's the most fundamental one.
Yeah.
Just prioritize getting to bed earlier. It sounds almost too simple, doesn't it?
But it's the linchpin.
It really is. The source just keeps reinforcing. Skimping on sleep tanks your performance anyway. You're way better off getting proper rest and then using that morning time effectively, rather than zoning out late at night feeling unproductive.
Makes sense. And the author found their own balance with this.
Yeah, they settled into about 7 hours sleep, typically 9:30 p.m. to 4:30 a.m. That became their sustainable rhythm after the crazy 3 a.m. phase and burnout.
So that whole journey from 5 a.m. salaryman to 3 a.m. burnout to a stable 4:30 a.m. routine, it really shows it's about finding a sustainable system that works for you.
Yeah.
Using these tools like consistency, triggers, enough sleep, not just brute force willpower.
Exactly. It reframes early rising. It's not a punishment or a test of toughness. It's a strategy for a better day, built on self-care and taking back control of your time.
So wrapping this up, this deep dive really highlights that getting up early without a huge struggle isn't magic. It's a system.
A practical system. Good sleep, that protected personal time, prioritizing the lifestyle stuff first, and using those smart little triggers to get you moving.
And the impact seems potentially huge. Just reclaiming that first hour, free from everyone else's agenda, could really change the whole feel of your day, give you that vital mental space.
That kokoro no yu.
Right. And what's really powerful is thinking about how these small daily actions that trigger that 5-minute tidy up, that quiet coffee, how they compound over time.
Yeah, the source implies these little habits are how you build significant life changes over 5 or 10 years.
Which leaves us with a thought for you listening. Based on everything we've discussed, what's one specific trigger or one small lifestyle activity that you could try implementing tomorrow morning?
What's one tiny step you could take to start building that happier, more spacious day, that more fulfilling future the source talks about?
Just something to think about. What could change in those first few minutes after you wake up? It might be the beginning of something pretty significant.